Hello, people. This is Amner Hunter from Amner Hunter Studios. I'm your host, and welcome to another video tutorial of audio mixing or mixing music. This time around, we are going to be checking another technique for equalization on drums, particularly. If you didn't saw a previous video about use of high-pass filters and low-pass filters, I highly recommend you to check it out. We saw this technique that I use a lot to equalize all the elements of a mix, to bring clarity and separation between each of them, which is using high pass filters and low pass filters. Right? We are getting rid of some stuff that we don't need, but it is there definitely, and it's taking up a lot of headroom from our mixes and a lot of clarity. So go check out that video. I'm sure that you will get the most out of it, and your mixes will get better, definitely using it. So right now we are going to be checking some other technique that I use on equalizing. Right now we're going to be use this technique on drums only, but we're going to listen to it in the context of a mix. All right, and as always, we're going to be mixing in mono, right? This is the part of the mix that I choose. Right, I have the mono plugin enabled, and we're going to be using this technique, which is called a sweeping technique, or I like to call it also the bell technique, because we are going to be hunting some bad frequencies that are affecting the source, in this case the drums, for example. I call it the bell because what I do is to make a boost, like in this case. All right, I grab a band of the equalizer, whichever band I want, except the 1 and 6, which I am already using. So I grab a band and I make a boost till I can, for let's say 18 decibels here, and instead of having like a wide Q control, I have a more tight and narrower. All right, so and I'm going to play the snare here, and with this we can go and find the frequencies that are not working on the snare, for example, like some resonance and some muddiness maybe. Okay, let's check it out. So we do this. All right, and what we can do with this is that when we're moving that bell filter across the spectrum, we are listening to particular frequencies, and some of them are very unpleasant for the ear, right? Because you're boosting a lot, but when you find that frequency, you then make a cut. All right, a cut, and you will get rid of that frequency that is kind of annoying you. All right, so okay, let's check it out again. All right, and there I found a very resonant frequency, like a ringing snare, and it's kind of annoying me, so I'm going to cut it. All right. All right, we can go search for another one. I already found this one. Let's check it out. All right. we got some air there, but just let's leave it like that, I think there's another frequency that is like kind of ringing and resonant. All right, let's cut it. Let's hear the before and after. Obviously, when you are making these cuts, we are cutting frequencies, we are losing volume, right? We're losing gain because we are cutting gain of some frequencies, and that's why we have this output control here, so we can level match the input and output, all right? So let's pump up the gain a little bit so we can have the volume restored. All right, I think that's it, and let's check it out in context of a mix. Right, it's not much a big of a difference, but when we do these little decisions across all of the drums, we are going to listen to a big difference, I think. And what we're doing is also leaving rooms for some other elements to be work in that part of the spectrum. All right, let's go to the, for example, in the kick drum, what I like to do with these filters in the middle of the spectrum is to get rid of some of the plastic sound of that drum, kick drum. For example, we have the drum here. All right, and what I like to do is in the kick drum, especially in the range from maybe 400 hertz to 600, maybe like I found this frequency to be a very plastic sound for the kick drum especially. So what I do is I found that frequency and check it out. Well, instead of having a really narrow Q, I like to widen a lot in this area. Okay, let's check it out, what this frequency sounds like. It's like a very boxiness, a very boxy sound, right? And well, what I do here is this. I cut the frequency and all right. And I like to widen the Q control right here. Right, we have a more tight kick drum, and that boxy sound and plastic sound went away, all right? And I like to do here's also a little boost in the low end to have more body and more like more strength right there. So I have here a little a little shelf. All right. A shelf allowed me to boost frequencies from the center frequency and below, which is the low shelf, and the high shelf, which is this one, allow me to make a boost of a frequency from that point to and above. All right. So for example, if I choose here in this low shelf 125 hertz, I'm going to be boosting 5.4 decibels. I'm going to be boosting from 125 hertz and below. All right. And since I already did a high pass filter, I'm not going to be affecting these frequencies. All right. Even I can move this to 40. And okay, let's check it out. All right, and a little more body and more punch to the kick, and I also like to do a high shelf here. I like to boost some frequencies, also like 5.8 decibels on the 7 kilohertz, 7,389. Right. A much better sounding kick drum, in my opinion. And by doing this cut right here, a lot of the instruments in the mix are going to be working in this range. So we're leaving room here for those elements to work well, but we are not losing the kick drum, because in metal the kick drum, it's like it has a lot of body, a lot of punch, but also it has a little click, and it has to cut through the mix. So by doing this, we're getting a much better sounding kick drum. Right, let's check it out. Plastic, and a more consistent, and a more definition. It has more definition to me. And since we did these cuts, I think we lost some volume, so we can compensate with this output control. Alright, don't forget to save the session, and let's check it out in the mix. Right, like it's cutting more through the mix, and we can listen to that punch more of the kick drum. All right.